Hey guys, last day of the final beta. This is gonna be the second time my account get deleted, so hopefully we're gonna see each other again in the lunch, and that's gonna be the last time I have to start the game all over again, because I'm kinda tired to start all the progress from zero all the time. And we're gonna do a quick recap of the progress made, what I think I did good, what I think I did bad, if I still think the game is free-to-play friendly, like I mentioned in one of my first video about the game, and also what I didn't like about the game, because I have a complaint that it's gonna be weird maybe for some of you, but I do have a complaint about the game. And despite the fact that I love it, like I got literally addicted to this game. But yeah, also before we start, I want to say big thanks to all the people that watched the video, subscribed, commented from the video of yesterday, like the SR video. I know this is the second time in a short amount of time that I say this, but that video was way better than any of the video that I posted before, and got much more views, comment, all very good comments. So I appreciate all of you guys that left a message there, and I try to read everything. I saw that I have a bunch of new comments. I will read and reply later today, but the advantage of being a small channel is that at least for now I can see all the comments and reply to everybody and talk with everybody. So big thanks to you guys. And now let's start to check the things in the video. First thing, I built 14 animus, 14 character in this beta. Ideally, for the progress I made, would I need to build 14 characters? The answer is absolutely not. I would say especially Doki Doki and Tsukiyomi were absolutely not necessary. Instead of them, I could have invested into another 2 or maybe 3 SR characters that I mentioned in the video from yesterday, and that would have made the progress better, faster. But it was a final beta. I wanted to try them, especially Tsukiyomi, so it's okay. I mean, that's the objective of the beta, was to try stuff so that I don't make the same mistake in the official. So I'm not gonna complain too much. I remember in one of the previous video, or maybe in a post, I like someone left a comment asking me to show the module, so I'm gonna show very quick. They're nothing special. Like for the DPS, I usually go for these 2 sets because they're the easiest one to build. And as you can see, this one was a little bit of a special one for Rosa, because I built her as a last DPS. For Rimoka, I don't have everything because 1 or 2 days ago I recycle half of her equipment as a mistake. Shit happens. Remember to lock your module. You can do it from here. As you can see, now they're locked. I learned from my mistake. But yeah, so Rimoka is in a weird situation. Also, I think I gave 2 of her module to Rosa. I was like mixing stuff yesterday because I actually wanted to beat Aurora 4, and I did, so we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. Lily is so good that she still have the trash module from the first like few days of beta, so you can tell Lily's good because she work even with this trash stuff. So very good character, absolutely. And then they don't have module anymore because I gave it to other character yesterday. It was, I think I gave Doki Doki build, I gave it to Viper, and Tsukiyomi build I gave it to Freya. Freya was the same as Lily. She's so good that I had like trash module from the first few days of beta. I had to upgrade a little bit things. It's a bad build. Like, don't copy this. This is not the build for Freya. I just had to do it to beat Aurora yesterday. And then we have Kraken, we have Dyna, and we have Viper that I made literally yesterday, and we're gonna talk about it. And then Valerian, Marvel, and Linglo. So despite all the progress, the good progress I would say made in the game, because we clear L4 for everybody. And also yesterday, I had one of those autistic moments. I think I can say this word because my channel is not monetized yet. And so I had one of those moments where like I really needed to clear everything with 3 star. Otherwise, it was bothering me. I'm that kind of person, yes. And then I also had to do L4 with everybody because, again, it was pissing me off. Especially after the video from yesterday went so well and people like I feel like I'm scamming people if I don't do what I say. And so I built Viper and I beat Aurora 4 to prove it that Viper is a good SR, and I should have invested into him because it would have made me progress more, which is what happened yesterday. And so that's it, I would say, for the progress. Now let's talk about mistake, because I made a big one, and I over-invested way too much in my module, like way too much. Look at how much stuff I have at plus 15. It's ridiculous. You do not need to make all this module plus 15, especially the lower rarity one. It's a huge waste of resource. And you could say, okay, but if you can afford it, why not? The reason of why not is because I got most of my money from here, as I mentioned in another video, from the shop of the arena and Summit Arena. And as you can see, you have unlimited amount of Etheria coin that you can make if you farm PvP. The problem is that I missed all the other good reward. Like, I didn't buy the Perfect Lattice, Evolution Lattice, the orange card for the upgrade, even Prototype in case I want to summon more. I left all this good reward here. And man, that's a huge waste, I would say. So ideally, do not spend. Follow the guide I made about module and do what I say there. Like, stop for most stuff at +6, +9, or if you need it for the quest, +12. Maybe you can overinvest if you want for your DPS, but overall, like, it was crazy. Like, I spent way too much money. I think I did good for the shell department because I did spend money, like resource, for the shell. But I would say the epic one are the one I spend the most, and they are necessary for progress in the early game. Like, you really need the epic one built properly to progress properly, because they're very good, and compared to the mythic one, they're not that expensive. So definitely, I think it's not a mistake to invest into epic shell. Then for the mythic one, I would say 2 is for your DPS. 2 are mandatory, and the reason is that you're gonna have 1 DPS, like 1 shell for DPS, and you can give it you can pass it around to all the DPS that you use for PV. So for example, I made this one for Rosa, but when I want to farm fast Terror Maton with Lian, I can give the entire set of Rosa, including the shell, to Lian. And that's gonna make my life much easier, because I don't have to build multiple set at mythic rarity with mythic shell. I can just move around what I already have for one character. The problem is that I use Messiah for PvP. So if, for example, I give the build of Messiah to anyone else, to Real Mocha maybe, then my Messiah in Arena, in PvP, in the defensive team, is naked, and it's gonna obviously make me lose a lot of match that maybe I could win. So that's why I think you're gonna need at least 1 for the DPS you have in Arena, and 1 for the DPS that you have for PvE in general. You can just move it around. Of course, this is just early game. Eventually, you keep playing, and you're gonna build many more mythic shell, but this is just like short-term progress, let's just call it that. For Marvel, this was actually for Tsukiyomi. I gave it to Marvel because it had a little bit extra speed, and I wanted that for PvP, but you don't really need it. It's unless you really want to push PvP. Yesterday I went up to Master 3, so I really wanted to try hard with Marvel, but it's not necessary. So I don't call it a mistake, but it was not necessary. Let's just say that. And now for the question, do I think the game is free-to-play friendly? As I mentioned in... oh my goodness, someone attacked me and I lost, and I went back to Master 2. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. But as I mentioned in one of my first video, I think the game is free-to-play friendly. So before we talk about the team I use in the game, let's talk about this kind of game. This is a gacha game, which usually it means it's pay to win, because in gacha you need to roll a lot for the dupe and the weapon, and it's all that stuff is super expensive, and you don't have enough resources, so you have to spend money to do that. And then it's also PvP focus game, and guess what? In PvP game, usually whales have a huge advantage. So you put the two things together, it should be a nightmare for free to play. But actually it's good, because the dupe system is useless, we don't have weapon system, and the SR in this game are super good. And also the free character that you get, like Lian or Linglo. So I still think that the game is very free-to-play friendly. Now, of course, people that spend money have huge advantage. For example, the biggest one, I would say, is the weekly shop. The weekly shop that has... everything in the weekly shop is something that overall it just boosts the progress a little bit, except the perfect lattice. Having 1 perfect lattice extra every week for people that buy every week, in the long run, in like 6 months, is going to give them a huge advantage, in my opinion, for building the skill of your SSR. Obviously, free-to-play player can build the skill of the SSR too, but it's gonna take much longer. That's the only thing that I say it's giving a big boost to a whale player compared to low spender or free-to-play. But man, I will take this compromise. Compared to literally every other game I ever play, this is definitely the least pay-to-win. So I will go for that. And also check out the team I used. Now, Lian is free. This is 3 SR, so everybody can get them. And Freya is rate up banner. So it's if you want Freya, which for most people I would advise to do so. I will make a video about that, don't worry. But I think most people will roll for Freya, and even if you're super unlucky and you get it with 100 roll, you don't have 50-50, so you guarantee you're gonna get Freya. And I use her in literally every team. I use Freya literally every team, and up until yesterday she had a trash module. Even yesterday the module were still not good, but yeah. And then for this one, don't look at Masaya. Masaya was just some experiment I was doing. Ideally here you're gonna have the character that you get from the selector. It could be Rilmoka, it could be Tiamat, but you're probably gonna have the character from the selector. This is true SR, so no problem. This is Freya, again, right up. And for Lily, if you're free to play, you're gonna reroll. So either you're gonna have Lily for this, or you're gonna have Heinrich for this too. So it's not gonna be a problem for you, having one or the other at least. And so, then we have the last one. The last one is, again, Freya, true SR. Linglo is for free for everybody when after 7 days. And then I have Rosa. Now, Rosa, it could be a character you get from the selector. But that's the only problem you're gonna have in the game is like if you get a character from the selector for Doki Doki, then maybe you're not gonna have a DPS for Aurora, or the opposite. If you get one for Aurora, you're not gonna have one for Doki Doki. But I mean, there's not a problem big enough for me to say, oh no, this game is not free to play friendly. Like all these teams are free to play friendly if you think that people are gonna reroll for either Lily or Enrich. And again, this is not the best possible team. Like you can make so many different combinations. One of the good thing about the game is that there's a lot of synergy between a lot of different characters. So it's again, I do think it's free to play friendly, and this is the same for the team that I use for the highest level Green Pursuit, I would say. And yeah, so I still think it's free to play friendly. Now to move on very quickly to the problem, I would say the biggest problem I had with the game is so freaking time consuming. Like man, I know you guys don't think so because I made so many videos about progress, like much progress in very short amount of time when the beta started, but I do have a life. I have a full-time job, I have a girlfriend, like I have friend. It's, man, I cannot play this game 12 hours a day. Like I wish I could. And maybe I'm gonna play like 8 hours a day for the first 2-3 days maybe, because it's gonna come out on a Thursday, so I can play a lot on Friday, Saturday and Sunday if I want. But on the long run it's not possible. Like I never, like the limited time event here, I didn't touch it. This one I didn't touch it. All this mode here, this I didn't even do half. This one I touched it only for the daily when it came out, the new event came out, and you need to do it at least once to get the reward for the event. I did it only then. This one, I'm not even halfway there. This one, 4% progress. On top of all this, you have to farm your stuff here, which is, it takes longer in the first week, but then it slows down. After the first week, everything becomes more automated, I would say. You can start to focus on everything else. But Jesus Christ, man, I don't have, my day is only 24 hours, you know. I don't have time to play all this stuff every day, all the time. It's crazy. And then you add union content, because of course you're in a good union, you need to do like the boss every day. And then you also have PvP, and PvP is insane because you can do Summit Arena for 24 hours if you want. Like, it's crazy. Like, some people, I had time to do like, what, 50, 60 match, and some people had like hundreds. It's like, man, how am I gonna find the time to do everything? At least in the arena, in the normal one, you have a limited number of tickets. So everybody can make the same amount of progress. Even if you build with Crystal, you're gonna make a set amount of progress. You cannot run for 20 hours PvP. But in Summit Arena you can, so it's, man, it's gonna be difficult to be competitive in Summit Arena because I don't think I will have that time to play everything, both PvE and PvP. Fearless Arena is very fun, I really like this mode, but again, man, I don't have time to play everything. It pissed me off. Like, I wish I could, but I can't. Like, how did they think to make so many things, especially available at launch? Jesus Christ, man. And whatever, this is my only complaint. I love the game, I got super addicted, I will play the hell out of it in at the launch, at the official launch. It's so much content, man. It's nice on one side because again, you're not gonna get bored, but my goodness. And then also they need to put something to block the chat. The chat is so annoying sometimes. But this is the only complaint I have about the game, really. It's I know I sound pissed maybe when I talk, but it's not a big deal, obviously. It's just, I don't know, man, they could have put more thought into it, and especially considering this is supposedly, it's not for me, but supposedly it's like a fun game, like a mobile game. People supposedly, usually mobile game, you just play a little bit during that time and progress, but this one takes so much time. It's very hardcore for being a mobile game, in my opinion. And yes, that's it for the complaint. Now, before we move on, as I mentioned, I will show you a clip of doing Aurora Hell 4. Before we do that, let's talk very quick about future content. Now, first of all, you can, if you want a specific video, you can leave a comment and tell me what you want to see in the channel. And as you can see, I read and try to reply to everybody, so I will definitely see your comment. And then what I'm planning already is one requested video that was about what character you should build for early game and like team building in general for early game. And I will do that. I will focus. I will try to focus a little bit more on free to play and so on SR characters, but we're also gonna talk about SSR. And then I wanna make an update version of the selector tier list that I made some time ago before the beta, because I played almost every new character, so I have a better idea now, and I want to change a bunch of things and talk a little bit, because everybody is asking, like the most common asked question in the comment is selector banner, and if people should go for Tiamat or Ilmoka or Rosa, and so we definitely need to talk about that. And then I want to make a tier list video, like a complete one, a full one. If you guys, like some of you guys follow me from Endless Grade time when I was playing that game on YouTube, and you know how my tier list work. I usually do a very long one at first where I explain everything, why I put them, where I put them, and then we just do an update every month based on the balance that we get in the game, new mode, stuff like that. And so the first one is gonna be long, and then the other one should be more short, I would say. And then what? Let me think. One for the reroll, definitely, because a lot of people are gonna ask what should they reroll for, because not everybody obviously spent money for the rebate, and if you didn't, it's a good idea to reroll. Of course, it's a gacha game, so nothing new here. And so for everything else, just let me know in the comment what you guys want to see. It could be between now and the official, but also after the official. Like if you have an interesting idea, why not tell me. And now let's move on very fast to Aurora. Okay, so this is the team I use for Aurora L3 and 4. As I mentioned before, it's because I felt like I had to prove what I said yesterday in the video of DSR from yesterday was true, and also because it was bothering me to see L4 for Terromaton and Doki Doki and not for Aurora. And so the team is Viper, as I mentioned in the video yesterday, is for the Dispel, for the immunity that Aurora has. Linglo is to make everybody survive and also dispel the malus that Aurora apply to your team. And Dyna and Freya for the debuff, to make sure that your DPS does as much damage as possible. Of course, Freya is also to buff your team, mostly your DPS, and also control a little bit the turn meter, because the speed is very important here, and also to make the team survive a little bit more, because the damage is quite high in this in L4. And now let's see how it works. So first of all, Viper is gonna do the passive, like the skill 1, thanks to his passive, because a bunch of character got crit. And then he's gonna start the turn with his Dispel from skill 3, the spell goes in, and that's nice. Now Freya goes in for skill 3 again, also from her side, and she applied the debuff, so that's also very good. And then we have Dyna. Now Dyna only did 1 out of the 2 debuff that she can do, as you can see. And that's annoying, but she doesn't have very much effect accuracy, so it is what it is. 1 was good enough, luckily for us. And I invested a lot, let me stop again. I invested in Viper skill 3, it was like 4 out of 5 level. And Rosa, I invested a lot into skill 1. I couldn't max either of them, I think, because they use, I didn't realize yesterday, but both Rosa and Viper are blue attribute, so they use the same stuff for the skill. So I was like rushing and farming the skill stage for the material like crazy yesterday, because I couldn't sleep if I didn't finish this stuff. But yeah, now we have Rosa going for the skill 3. Now she applied the crit rate up, and did you see the damage from like the shell? This is why I think the mythic shell is important, at least in your DPS, because this one is so freaking good, both from the effect that it gives to your character, but also for the damage. Like that was ridiculous. And now everybody someone crit thanks to Rosa's skill. She also gonna attack with the skill 1, that's why you prioritize skill 1 on Rosa instead of skill 3. At least that's what I did. And then again, crit from Dyna, double attack from Rosa. And then we get a little bit of healing from Linglo. Now this is where things start to go a little bit bad, because when it's the turn of Aurora, she loses a bunch of debuff. And then she gonna get the immunity up again, as you can see now from the ad. And this is where you need a new Dispel from Viper, unfortunately mine didn't have the skill 3 maxed out, so it does it now instead of before because I didn't have the reduced cooldown. The debuff was like the spell goes in, but now you're gonna see the problem. The problem is gonna be that now I don't wanna give you any spoiler, so I'm waiting. Now Freya does the skill 3, but the debuff doesn't go in for the damage, so that's why Rosa damage is kinda bad now. Again, turn from Aurora, so she gets the immunity again. And this is the problem. Dinah does the skill 3 right after she got the immunity, so no debuff again. It dispel, Viper dispel again for the third time, so he's doing an amazing job. But now both the skill 3 from Dinah and Freya are gone, so that was not very good. Skill 3 again is up from Rosa, and then we got lucky with Dinah, as you can see now. That was probably the skill 3 and she put erosion, so thanks to that we get a good damage from Rosa and we finish the run, but my goodness, that was not easy, let me tell you, that was not easy. This team would have a very low win rate, I would say, in auto for L4, but we managed to beat it, and so I managed to went to sleep properly like, at a decent time yesterday night, despite all that. And yeah, this was just to prove that I do what I say, like I just don't make the video for the sake of it, I do what I say. And yeah, that's how good Viper is and why I think I will build him up for the official. Thank you for watching the video, I hope it was useful, and hope to see you in the next one. Have a good day, and bye bye.